The fact that a soldier in the Israeli army, peculiarly a Christian soldier, who's been killed and is now buried, has had his headstone covered by a cloth by order of the Israeli state because it had a cross on it. That's what they think of Christians in Israel. They have an ancient tradition, they call it, of spitting on Christians. I've seen them do it in the holy city of Jerusalem, outside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus lay and where his blood spread over the stone. I've seen them spitting on Christian pilgrims and nuns and monks. They hate Christianity in Israel, but American Christians sure love them for it.
You know, the donor class, as we call them, the very wealthy Zionists and pro-Zionists here in the U.S. have an iron grip on the American government, no matter who the president is, whether it's Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, or Kamala Harris. They have an iron grip on the Congress of the United States. I mean, Benjamin Netanyahu is the chief executive officer of a police state, which is also an apartheid state, which engages in the systematic genocide of the people who occupied the state before his people moved in. It is inconceivable to me that there could be any moral defense of Benjamin Netanyahu, and yet the Congress of the United States of America gave him 58 standing ovations, more than they gave to Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Douglas MacArthur, or any other American presidents for whom this nonsense about standing ovations was recorded. There's never been a debate on the floor of the House of Representatives or the Senate about all this money to Israel, and yet the United States government has given them so far $20 billion with a B dollars in military equipment at the discretion of the President of the United States. He or she, of course, could stop the slaughter, stop the genocide with a phone call. In Iran, the situation is arguably even worse because the numbers are so much more vast. The United States government has given over, fasten your seatbelts, as George Galloway likes to say, $265 billion with a B dollars in equipment and cash to the Ukrainian government. 600,000 young Ukrainian men are dead, an entire generation. 10 million Ukrainians have left the country. For what? For what? To serve as a battering ram against Russia? To drive President Putin out of office? These are pipe dreams of the neocons, and yet your former prime minister, with whom I know you were extremely adverse, thanks be to God, Boris Johnson, talked then president, no longer, but claiming to be, Vladimir Zelensky, into rejecting a peace agreement that had been negotiated by his people and by the Russians. Don't worry, he said. The UK and the US will have your back. He's hanging on by the skin of his teeth. They're doing everything they can to prop up this government and his military until after November 5th. As recently as yesterday, the American Secretary of Defense was in Kyiv delivering a package of $400 million more dollars worth of military equipment. I don't want to get too into the weeds, but the most useful artillery shell is the 155 millimeter shell. The U.S. has none. The U.S. has totally run out of them. We've given all of them away to Israel and to Ukraine. This is not a national secret. Everybody knows it, including those who wish the U.S. harm and who would take advantage of it. So the foreign policy of Joe Biden has been an unmitigated disaster.